Yeah, Jared, I just want to kind of get your overall thoughts on getting that interception against Texas State.
Honestly, it felt really good. It felt good to know that all the players around me and the supporting group of players that were on the field at that one time, all were doing their part to make it possible. And so I was super happy that everybody was doing their part and we could all make that play happen. And I was super hyped. So it was a really cool moment for me.
You've had a pretty interesting career in a BYU uniform. We've seen you line up on special teams as a kicker. You played safety, corner. What's it been like overall for you?
I think it's been a huge learning experience to learn all these different positions. So I played receiver too when I started off here, and so learning offenses and learning how to see things on the defensive side, and knowing what offensive players are trying to do, it really helped me gain an understanding of like what I could do better as a defensive player. And so at corner, it was a little harder for me. I think my speed did not help me in that in that way. And that's why I feel like at safety, I'm at a better advantage where I can play with my eyes and play with my technique and really make plays from that way instead of having to have standout speed to make plays.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah,
And then Jared.
Jared, from what I understand, you're a walk-on. Is that true still?
Yeah. Yep.
What has kind of motivated you to just stick with the program where your playing time hasn't been great until recently? What has kind of driven you to stick with it?
I always think about it. I've thought about it many times, probably 2 or 3 really serious times. I thought about stopping playing, and it always came back to me that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that you really have every year to come out and to contribute. And to me, I just thought I could never live with myself after football and after college if I was to give up something that I still have opportunity to continue doing. If I have that opportunity to keep playing, I always think to myself, like, why not keep playing? Like, this is my dream. Why not keep living out my dream until I can't live it out anymore,
Didn't you originally come to BYU to play rugby, and do you still do that at all?
So I actually, my number one thing I wanted to do when I came to BYU, I wanted to be a walk-on kicker. I wanted to kick field goals for BYU because I used to watch BYU football, and I was like, I want to be a kicker there. And Coach Tidwell, when he was a coach here, he wanted me to come and walk on as a kicker. And that year they happened to walk on like 2 freshman kickers, and I was out, and they told me, they're like, we don't have any spots for you to be a kicker, so you can come to the tryout like next year or something. And I was like, dang, that kind of hurt. So I was like, I'm gonna show up to the tryout anyways, and I'll just try out as a receiver. I thought I was a pretty good receiver coming out of high school, and so I told them I was gonna play receiver, and so I came to the tryout, made it as a receiver onto the team, and then that's where I kind of started from there.
Go ahead, Jared. Lloyd.
Yeah, you got to clarify. You do have a great name, though, Jared. I got to say.
Let's go.
I want to ask about the mentality, because there's a lot of players on this team that at one point were walk-ons or preferred walk-ons, and is there a fraternity of you guys that just that pride of being able to take those steps that you guys had to take to be able to make it, and seeing that success from guys that that maybe weren't initially scholarship guys?
Yeah, I'd say there's a big – I think people take pride in being a walk-on and earning their way. I definitely take a lot of pride in it, just knowing that, you come from maybe you weren't scouted as good as everyone else. Maybe you weren't given the same opportunity as everybody else, but your ability and your mindset is the same as or can be even better than somebody else's. And so I think just coming in with the same mindset that you're just going to be the best player that you could possibly be, and doing that will allow you to break barriers of whether you feel like you're not getting a good look from the coaches or whatever. Like if you're on the scout team, you can show, your ability in that way. And so I think it's definitely cool to see people like walk-ons, I guess, make their way through the program. And another thing too, I think is cool about this team is that nobody really classifies someone as like a scholarship guy or a walk-on guy. Like some people don't even know who the walk-ons are. And so it's kind of cool to see, like, there's some guys that are like, they're a walk-on because they're new to the team, but there's some guys that have been on the team and nobody thinks that they're a walk-on because their ability is so good. Like they're so good at what they do that nobody would even know. So I like that about our team.
I was just going to ask as well, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, and maybe you've had the opportunity to take under your wing a new walk-on, but if you get the chance to give them some advice as they start that journey, what advice do you give them?
My advice would be to honestly just come out every day and just attack the day. Like there's going to be some days that you're like really down on yourself because, maybe the coach gave you a lot of coaching points or like maybe you weren't performing the way you should have. But I think if you attack the day just like it's any other day or even like it's game day, you can honestly change your mindset of how you approach every practice and every training session and everything in your life. You can approach it differently,
Go ahead, Jake.
I just got a quick one here for you, Jared. Why the number 43?
Honestly, that's a good question. The equipment guys, so I felt like I was just getting thrown around with the numbers and all this. And I mean, sometimes the equipment guys, they just throw you a number, And last year I felt like I wasn't really contributing the way I felt like I could have. And they threw me 43, and I was like, you know what? 43 is not my favorite number, but there's a lot of great players that wear 43, and especially, I'm someone, my Troy Polamalu. That's my dude, So, I felt good wearing 43 because I was like, I could play like him, So, he's always an idol in all the, Samoan families that play football. Everybody knows who he is. And so 43 kind of rang with me, I liked it. So I just ran with it.
All right. Any other questions for Jared? Okay. Thanks, Jared.
All right. Appreciate you guys.